We're back, it's the weekend, and you know what that means? It's time to cook. This weekend, we're gonna go for something sweet. We're going to make chocolate mousse. It's a classic, it's old-fashioned in some ways, but it's still so delicious. It's light, it's airy, and that's the difference between a mousse and a pudding. Getting that air in there. So we're going to show you how to do that. It's really easy. Doesn't take a lot of work, especially if you just got it something as simple as a hand mixer. So we're going to show you how to make a flavorful, delicious chocolate mousse. I'm going to show you some ways you can take that flavor up a notch, because that's what we do here at Salacious Spoon. Celebrate food, elevate food, celebrate those food holidays. Today is chocolate mousse. So if you like what we got going on, be sure to click that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you want to be alerted to new videos every Friday, make sure you click that alert button on there as well. So click the button, show us some love, leave us your comments. I always want to know what you want to learn about, what you want to hear about. So today, let's just get into chocolate mousse. Let's have some fun, and let's get started. The base of chocolate mousse is where all the flavor comes from. Once you start adding in the whipped ingredients to get that air in there, it's going to thin it out. So you want the most flavorful ingredients going into that base that you can find. So the ingredients are very simple, but when you look at it, you can go with regular chocolate, but if you want to make it something very memorable, I recommend going with something a bit higher quality. That's why I'm going with the Ghirardelli today. I'm going to use Ghirardelli chocolate instead of just regular butter. I'm using Kerrygold. I just think it's a better butter. Some good quality eggs. And you can use vanilla extract if you want. You don't have to. You don't have to use any extract at all, to be honest. But I like adding those flavor profiles to chocolate mousse. So instead of just plain chocolate, I'm going to jazz it up a little. And I have several flavors here just to give you an idea. We've got a lemon extract here. We've got a pure almond extract. We've got an orange extract, which will give you kind of that Cadbury orange chocolate egg flavor when you're done. Or we got peppermint, which is what we're going to use today. Peppermint extract, so a couple of teaspoons of that. Remember, the recipe is always at the bottom of the video. So I'm going to use peppermint extract today. You can go with any of those extracts there. Good quality eggs, a good quality butter makes all the difference. Heavy cream, using a cup of heavy cream. We're going to whip that into a nice whipped cream. Keep it cold until you're ready to use it. Same with the eggs. And we have about 2 ounces of sugar here to add that little sweetness to it that you always want, and about half a teaspoon of salt, because salt always brightens everything. So right now, we're going to melt this chocolate, and while it's melting, we're going to separate the eggs and get those whipped up. We're going to take the whipped cream and make whipped cream, and then we'll show you how to bring it all together. So let's go ahead and get that chocolate melting. First, let's get these hands clean. I always start with clean hands in the kitchen. So while that's getting warm, let's go ahead and get our tablespoon of butter in there. Again, use a good quality butter. You get what you pay for when it comes to these kinds of things. So get a tablespoon of butter in there. And let's get our chocolate in there. We're just going to use the whole thing, 4 ounces of Ghirardelli. And keep a spatula handy or a whisk, and just so you can stir as it melts. Just going to break that down. Just break all of those up in there. You know, don't worry, it's going to take care of itself when it melts. You don't have to worry about being precise with it or anything like that. Just breaking it just to get more contact with the bottom. So that's going to melt, and in the meantime, let's go ahead and get our whipped cream together. So we're going to get the whipped cream together, get it in your bowl, get your mixer, your beater ready. Remember, start on low setting so you don't get it splashing everywhere immediately. Okay, so that took probably about 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes, but you see I have nice soft peaks there, starting to get stiff. You don't want it to get too much more than that, because as you fold it in, it's going to continue to do its thing. So that's it for the whipped cream, and we want to keep this cold until we're ready for it. So I'm going to stick this in the fridge, and we're going to move on to our eggs. Okay, you see that's boiling now, so we turn it down to a simmer because we don't want it to evaporate so fast. Turn it down to a simmer, and you can see the chocolate's already starting to melt. So it doesn't take long for this to happen. And once the chocolate is nice and melted, we'll start incorporating other ingredients into it. You can see the chocolate is just about there, melted, so I don't really need to keep it on the heat anymore at this point. If you keep it on too long, there's always that chance it might break, but you can see here, just about where I want it. So a little stirring will take care of that last little bit of melting for whatever chunks you might see in there. But using the spatula, you can see, spread it around, it's pretty smooth. This is pretty much done. So we're gonna take that off the heat and let it cool. I'm gonna leave it now in another bowl. We're gonna get our eggs going because I want those egg whites to get my meringue, give me that extra bit of aeration. I'm going to use the egg yolks and just incorporate them into the chocolate. So let's get these separated. Remember, crack on the counter, not over the dish, so that you can keep the product separated. Actually, all my whites in there. So there you go. Lessons learned always as you go. I'm going to beat the whites in there, so I want all my egg whites in there. Very easy to separate as long as you're gentle with them. Just treat the egg right, it'll treat you right. Get that bit of white in there. Take this yolk, just gonna put that right there. Take one more. Very simple, very gentle. As long as you're not aggressive with it, you're not gonna get a bunch of egg shearing everywhere, and you don't have to go through a lot of trouble using egg separators and all of that. So that's all there is to it. Let's go ahead and take these eggs. Now I want to start getting some of our other ingredients together. So I'm going to take these eggs, take a little bit of the sugar here, and I'm going to get that in there and just start mixing that together and getting that incorporated. So now let's go ahead and whisk up these egg whites, and we're going to get our sugar incorporated into the egg whites, the remainder sugar. Okay, so again, about soft peaks on there. That's about all you want. Takes about 3 minutes or so, 2-3 minutes, not very long. And now we're going to get everything incorporated. Now the chocolate is melted, and we're going to fold in the other ingredients, the egg whites and the whipped cream. Now the trick here is to fold in and not just stir and whisk it in. You don't want to break down all that air that you have in these lovely egg whites and in the whipped cream. So we're going to just fold this into the chocolate mix, and I'll show you what I mean by folding it in. We'll start by just getting a little bit of it in there and just fold it around just to get it incorporated. See how I'm doing that there? So you swipe and fold, swipe and fold, swipe and fold, swipe and fold. That's it, just to help cool the mix and to also just get that air in there and start evening out the color. Once you've gotten it about to that point there, you can go ahead and add the rest of your egg whites. And remember, these egg whites are sweetened with that sugar, so don't think it's going to be giving it some bitter flavor. It won't. These egg whites are already sweetened, and just folding and turning, folding and turning, folding it over itself, trying to get a uniform color. Once you have your uniform color, that's when you know that it's ready. And at that point, you pipe it into whatever you're going to serve it in and get it refrigerated to set. And that's almost there. Now it's whipped cream time. So let's get this whipped cream in here. Ooh boy. I hope you're as excited as I am. This looks delicious. So let's get this whipped cream in there, and we'll fold this as well. Remember, just folding it over itself. That's all you're doing until you get a nice uniform color. You don't want to see any striping, because if there's any striping, that means you didn't fully incorporate the ingredients. So it should be one uniform color throughout. Okay. So that's pretty well incorporated, and now we'll add our extract or whatever you want to add. I know some people would even add rum or things like that to it, but you can add whatever flavor profiles you want. Just get it incorporated real quick, don't let it break down too much, and then we'll get it in the pastry bag, pipe it, and then get it in the fridge to set. So we're going to work fast here. The way I like to use a pastry bag is just take it, look, I got a little chocolate on my fingers here. We'll take our pastry bag, open it up there, use a very fat tip and just slide that down to the bottom. Fold this over. Fold this over, and we're gonna feed this right in there. Now this is gonna make about 2 very generous servings. You can make more if you want, but for tonight it's just a couple of us here, so that's all I'm making. Very simple but very delicious serving sizes here. You're gonna put it in a pastry bag. You don't have to. You can just dump it right in the cup or ramekin or whatever you're using. I just use a pastry bag because I find that it allows me to pipe it in and ensure that there's going to be no air sitting there. So that's in there. So we'll take our scissors, cut the tip off, and then get to piping. Let's just pipe that down in there. It's very soft right now, very light, but it will stiffen up in the fridge, I promise you. And get it in the other one. No air in there. And now let's get these into the fridge so they can set. And that's all there is to it. You can play with the flavors. You saw I used mint extract, but you can use just plain chocolate. It'll be equally as delicious. Or you can use an almond extract, any flavors you want. So have fun with this, enjoy it. Right now we're gonna take that first bite and get a really good look at that airy, creamy chocolate deliciousness. That's perfect, perfect. Oh my. You've got to try this. You've got to try this. Thanks again. Keep watching, keep subscribing. Have a good one.